story of the day as Prime Minister Modi has met his visiting British counterparts Keir Starmer in Mumbai. Talks have begun in Mumbai between both the Prime Ministers. The two leaders even shook hands and exchanged pleasantries at the meeting in Raj Bhavan in the financial capital of the country. The two leaders have held talks aimed at strengthening the India-UK comprehensive strategic partnership under the Vision 2035 roadmap. The discussions are expected to cover cooperation in trade, investment, technology, defense, climate and education as well. They will also participate in the CEO Forum and the Global FinTech Festival this year. On that note, India and the UK, of course, are charting a bold path forward under their Vision 2035 map. Let's break it down for you what it is. It's a comprehensive plan aimed at deepening strategic, economic and technological ties. As far as the 2035 roadmap envisions a significant increase in bilateral trade, even targeting an ambitious over £25 billion boost per year. Both nations are committed to driving growth and job creation through greater market access for each other's goods and services. On the defense and security front, collaboration will expand into advanced technologies and complex weapon systems. It's going to reinforce shared priorities on innovation and resilience. A strong skills partnership is also in focus, with plans to establish campuses of leading universities in both countries to foster global talent exchange. To begin with, the Southampton University has already established its campus in Gurugram in India. It's the first foreign university campus that's been established in India. The two sides are set to advance cooperation in cutting-edge technologies, including future telecoms, artificial intelligence and critical minerals, ensuring both economies that are going to be future ready, because remember, the vision is for 2035. Under the climate partnership, India and the UK will work together to accelerate clean energy transitions and mobilize climate finance, steering the world towards a sustainable future. As far as clean energy is concerned, green hydrogen is what India's looking towards gaining from the UK. Even wind turbine is one technology that India will be hoping to seal the deal with when it comes to our energy requirements. Whether our oil trade with Russia will surface is another key aspect of concern, because that's also something that Keir Starmer had raised. He's in fact asking or interested in India to increase their oil purchases from the UK. To add more perspective, let me quickly go across to Rahul Shivshankar, who's also joining us from the studio. Rahul, it's over to you.
Thanks indeed, Akanksha. Thanks indeed for setting this up. Let me go straight across to Marco Forgione, Director General of the Chartered Institute of Export and International Trade. We also have with us Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow of the IPCS. Let's get a sense really of what the main takeaways could be coming out of this important exchange, where we are hoping to see an intensification of the trade relationship between India and the UK. Thank you, Marco, for joining us. Could you put this in perspective for us? Is there going to be a win-win scenario? Or do we see that this particular CETA, the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, sort of weighed in favor of one over the other?
No, we're already seeing that the arrangement, the intention to have much closer economic and trading relationship is flourishing. This is even before it comes fully into force. As you've just heard, we've got British universities committing to open their campuses in India, supporting the flow of talent between our nations, and Indian investors have announced £1.3 billion of investment into the UK across the nations and regions in those really important, transformative new industries like AI and tech. So this is a really beneficial win-win agreement that, even before it comes fully into force, is showing a real impact and result.
Well, more pictures coming in of that bilateral exchange. Let's try to see if we can get the audio out of there, because sometimes opening remarks are shared with the press pool. The Prime Minister speaking. Okay, we don't quite have audio there, but certainly, viewers, the meeting is very well underway. The delegations on both sides now are sitting across from each other. We have obviously the entire panoply of important leaders there. You have Vikram Misri, the FS, you have Piyush Goyal, you have the Prime Minister, you also have Ajit Doval, the NSA. They're all in the room and they will be speaking to their counterparts on the other side of the table. Keir Starmer laying the foundation there for that conversation by making the opening address, as it is always the case, viewers, with visiting dignitaries. This is an important moment. This is an important moment because there has been a very, very optically obvious, visible uptick in relations between India and the UK, especially under the Labour government of Keir Starmer. We had a lag period where for about 2 or 3 years we were kind of missing the mark on things that were of mutual importance to us. But one of the reasons perhaps was because it was taking eons, really, 3.5 years to, at some level, gestate the CETA, which is an important component of the bilateral exchange. And under the strategic partnership, trade relations occupy an important area. So that one of the reasons why we saw a little bit of I wouldn't say souring or anything, but certainly a downgrade of the relationship was because of this issue. And of course, there were some bilateral concerns raised on issues such as the presence of radicals inimical to India's sovereignty on British soil and the perceived inaction of governments on that. And also, of course, viewers, the fact that there was, again, disappointment that some economic fugitives who are in England specifically hauled up by the courts and cleared for repatriation were not coming our way. So there was that problem. Let me just quickly go across to Akanksha for more on that. Akanksha, these pictures coming to us live, I think, or maybe deferred. We don't have audio there, but let me go across to Sanjay Suri for more on this. Sanjay, put this into perspective for us. Slight uptick in the India-UK relationship. Many people say that Starmer needs takeaways more than perhaps Prime Minister Modi at this point.
Without any doubt, Rahul, Starmer is under a great deal of pressure here in London. He's having a hard time of it in government. His popularity ratings have crashed. They're at their lowest. The recently concluded Labour Party conference was intended to be a platform for revival. It did exactly the opposite. We have a challenger to Starmer for the position of Prime Minister now gaining popularity by the day, Andy Burnham, who is the mayor of the leader in Manchester, the local government. This now is a threat to Starmer. His popularity ratings never really have risen since the time he began, really, and we had those issues about his free suits and glasses and whatnot, and since then it's never quite taken off. So he needs a good news success story to tell, and for him it could be this. And there is a lot in this emerging for Britain. The Scotch Whisky Association expects to increase sales of whisky to India by £1 billion a year. They are thrilled with this agreement, and there are others who are looking to get some advantages, principally people in the automobile sector and also people in certain technological areas and also in the medical field. This is a lot of promise, and there are a lot of very important companies and their CEOs represented here in India along with Starmer. So Starmer wants really a bunch of good news stories to come out of this.
Bunch of good news stories to come out of this to boost his own domestic popularity, which is plummeting. That's the takeaway from Sanjay Suri. Let me bring in Mr. Iyer Mitra also with us. Requires no introduction, senior fellow of the IPCS. Iyer Mitra, how do you place the India-UK tie-up now, specifically when we consider the overhang of the Trump presidency?
Thank you, Rahul. So normally I won't rate it very high because remember, the UK is sort of a microcosm of Canada, but Canada plus. You have a very strong Khalistani lobby out there, And you have a much, much stronger Pakistani lobby out there, specifically the Mirpuri Khas, who tend to dominate the political agenda. Now, that said, there are two things that have changed since then. The first was how the Hindu community has gotten together in UK has gotten together in terms of being able to neutralize the Mirpuris in the political discourse out there, which Indians have not been able to do. The second is more to do with foreign policy, which is, our ongoing trade tensions with America, where we needed this, the Brits needed this, and it's come at the perfect time for both of us. Couldn't couldn't ask for a better time to be doing this right now.
Well, we're expecting the press statement shortly. Delegation level meeting is commenced, and we can see that as of 11:58. And obviously, this is going to be a slightly more extended conversation, given the multiple issues that are going to be on the table. This is a comprehensive strategic partnership also, let's not forget, viewers. I want to bring in Akanksha, if she's there with us. Akanksha, very quickly coming across to you, broad sweep, isn't there, on this table?
Absolutely. And for both the sides, it seems like a win-win because remember, 50% tariff, the highest for India coming in from the United States. We are looking towards diversification right now. And as I've been highlighting throughout, those very goods which are currently facing stumbling blocks from the United States because of the tariffs, whether it's textiles, whether it's jewelry, gems, leather goods, marine products, all of them will now find free access to the British markets. For the UK Prime Minister himself, this could be a big political respite, if not a win, because remember, his administration is under tremendous pressure from the as far as the popularity of the rise of the far right is concerned, whether it is the UK Reform Party leader Nigel Farage, or even say the rise of Tommy Robinson. Most of them have been attacking Keir Starmer and the Labour Party's weak stance when it comes to the issue of immigration, or say even grooming gangs. If you see the visuals, interestingly, Prime Minister Modi is flanked by the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal. On the other side is also the NSA, Mr. Ajit Doval, because remember, security also happens to be a key point of concern. Jogal, one of the incarcerated, has already been demanded by the hardline Sikh groups in the United Kingdom. That could very much surface, and that's a possibility that Keir Starmer himself has not denied before arriving in Mumbai. Security and defense is going to be another key aspect. There's been a lot as far as the build up to this key bilateral meet is concerned, Rahul, because we also witnessed maritime exercises in the Arabian Sea between India and Britain under the name of Exercise Konkan. The UK High Commissioner Lindy Cameron has already indicated that to ensure an open, free and open Indo-Pacific is also a priority for Britain as much as it is for India. So there are a host of sectors that India is looking at. To just leave it to trade and fintech is going to be an understatement.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me bring back Marco on this conversation. Marco, what would you consider a successful visit? If all of things are sort of taken into account, what would be a successful visit? What would be the takeaways that Keir Starmer would want to sell to his people? And I'll ask that question of Prime Minister Modi of Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Yes.
Well, look, I think we're seeing the key aspects that you judge a successful trade mission. First, is there a large delegation? Well, this is one of the largest delegations the UK has ever taken. Over 120 business leaders are accompanying the Prime Minister and other leading politicians. It's clear that the personal relationship between Prime Minister Starmer and Prime Minister Modi is warm. They seem very at ease with each other. And then, is business being done? Well, as we've already seen, there have been announcements of commitments already flowing both ways. So UK investments in India and Indian investments in the UK, not just the 1.3 billion that's been announced today, but also a commitment to actually make Bollywood films in the UK. There'll be 3 Bollywood hits to be made in the UK. So I think on all terms, this has been a hugely successful mission. and successful for both. I think the important point is the one that was just raised, that this, though, is much more than just trade and economics. The carrier strike groups that are on exercises in the just off the coast of India is a clear indication that the UK and India strategically, militarily, are united and are forming a very close geopolitical force.
Let me bring in Mr. Iyer Mitra. Iyer Mitra, the two things that the Indian side, and perhaps that's one of the reasons why the NSA is sitting at that table, the concerns that we have is on the Khalistani element that finds refuge, and you mentioned that short while back in England, and also, of course, this business of seeming to be reluctant to dehyphenate India and Pakistan.